had a couple of good experiences driving FSD Beta through Lakeland, Florida, and then a little bit through Tampa, Florida. I've made some observations on the behavior of the system, specifically that it seems to follow some of the OpenStreetMaps data. And I got to thinking about it, and I was like, one of the places I've seen use OpenStreetMap data fairly religiously is Disney World. So I figured I would take 10.2 over to Disney World and have it go around a little bit and see how it does. I've pre-plotted a bunch of destinations into the navigation system. We're going to start by going to the Fort Wilderness Campground, and then from there I'm just going to pick different entries from the list. And a lot of this is to try and get the system to go around various areas in Disney World. So we're starting on Interstate 4. We can see the traditional autopilot system is currently in play right now. What'll happen is when we get to exit 62, navigate on autopilot will take us off the interstate, which it should do here. Now my hand is on the steering wheel. You're seeing the upper right-hand quadrant of the steering wheel, but I keep my hand down on the left side of the steering wheel, just out of frame, unfortunately, but it is there. On the Model S and Model X, there's a gray bar that'll pop up at the top to show you when the steering wheel is not being torqued. And what's going to happen here is the autopilot system should be taking the second right. And once I've taken the second right, we should see the classic autopilot system change from this to navigate on autopilot. Or FSD Beta, rather. So here it takes the other right. Now for sharper turns and things of that nature, both hands will be on the steering wheel, because that's obviously the safest thing to do. So we can see here it has already switched to the FSD Beta immediately once it got off the interstate. And it's also slowed down to try and take this turn at a reasonable speed. Classic autopilot would just kind of throw you at it, and you'd feel a few G's pulling the turn there. So this particular vehicle here is a 2017 Model X. It was manufactured in September of 2017. As I understand it, there was a bit of a cutoff period with regards to when autopilot hardware was changed around. There was Autopilot 2.0, which was evidently put in these vehicles up until August of 2017, give or take a little bit. And then after that, they went to Autopilot 2.0, which had a different camera suite. It's my understanding that folks with Autopilot 2.0 instead of 2.5 may not be getting the beta right away because the camera suite's not good enough. Now back there, I did manually change into this right-hand lane. I did that because there was a whole string of cars behind me, and a lot of tourists in the Disney area, unfortunately, are not very patient. So I find this to be a reasonable stress test in that the car is going to have to navigate a lot of different obstacles. So here it's slowing down for a yellow light. It doesn't need to. I don't think I've ever seen this light actually not blinking. It's interesting. So here it's decided to go back from FSD Beta to navigate on autopilot, or classic autopilot. Wasn't expecting that. Now when it is on classic, my hand is on the wheel. When it is on classic autopilot, I don't have automatic lane change enabled. So at those points, it's myself doing the navigation there. And if it's like this for the entirety of World Drive, it's certainly going to be an interesting experience. So this road here is World Drive, which is essentially the spine to Disney World. All of the traffic ends up on this road. Back there, the system beeped at me for wiggling the wheel because the lane widened and it was a little uncertain. I didn't have the wheel torqued quite enough for its happiness there. And what I've basically done is I've chosen a series of resorts and destinations on Disney property, and as I approach one, I'm just going to pull down, cancel the navigation, and change the destination to the next one on the list, and have it reroute in that capacity. So the first destination is going to be the Fort Wilderness Campgrounds. So what'll happen here is as we approach the Magic Kingdom, I guess I will have to make the lane change since I don't have the auto lane change function enabled there. From where I am to the right lane, at which point we'll get off at Vista Blvd. So there's actually a few different navigation obstacles and such in Disney World. I find that it mimics a city very well. So for example, up ahead we have a series of buses going into different places. And you'll have all your regular tourist traffic and whatnot. There's also a couple of overpasses that can technically qualify as tunnels. And we'll just generally see how it behaves here as we go. Again, for straightaways like this, my hand will just be down on the left to keep the steering wheel torqued, and then when I go into turns, you'll typically see when my right hand comes up here, the left hand will pretty much be on the other side as well. That beam off to the side there is the monorail system between the Ticket and Transportation Center and Epcot. So I will have to manually change lanes. I honestly would have thought this would have functioned under FSD Beta. I'm a little surprised by that. So that was the car basically taking the exit off the highway to Vista Boulevard. So now we're back on the FSD Beta software. And it should be trying to make a right turn when we get up ahead here. And then once we're on Vista Boulevard, I'm going to change the destination to the Lime parking garage over near Disney Springs, which used to be Downtown Disney. Cancel, and we'll switch to the Lime parking garage. Disney tends to be very gung-ho about their conservation efforts and whatnot, so a lot of this stuff is technically still wetlands. And when they take some of it away, they try and buy some elsewhere to make sure that the wetlands they're using are protected in some capacity somewhere. Now, FSD Beta does tend to perform fairly well when there's a lead vehicle, so this bus is obviously going to be helping it significantly here. Now off to the left here, these homes that are, some of them are being built and some of them are completed. These are, I believe, part of the Golden Oaks community that is built on Disney property. They're actually homes that you can buy and you can live on Disney property and whatnot. I believe to an extent you can see the Magic Kingdom fireworks from the homes, but I'm not sure to how much. Obviously they're not very cheap homes, but they're there. Thought I was going to go there for a minute. But I've looked at it out of curiosity. Not that I could ever afford to live in there, but there is a bunch of information you can find on it online of all the amenities and whatnot. I don't know entirely what the appeal is because you'd have to deal with a bit of tourist traffic here and there. Seems like you need to camp out in there at like Christmas time or something, but to each their own. There's a right turn coming up ahead. Oh, why are we braking? and we'll be going from Vista Blvd to Live Oak here in a minute. There's a speed bump, which we're going to slow down. Whoa! Okay. That was a very sudden... I have not actually driven this path before, so I'm not entirely familiar with the navigation it's going to be doing. It's not slowing down for the speed hump. So this part I'll do by hand. The main objective when I was plotting this entire trip out on Google was to not have to go through the parking plazas and not have to go through a security gate. It's a little hard to see speed bumps from Google Maps. So there are... Nope, there's a car coming. Okay, now it's safe. It might have been able to make it, but I don't know. There was no other car behind the car, so from a safety standpoint, it made more sense to wait for the car to pass. Some of the less commonly traveled areas of Disney here. Didn't know the sheriff had an office on property. It's kind of funny. Understandable, but slightly amusing. So the speed limit that I have the vehicle set to is +5. So speed limit here is 40, so the car is going to try and go 45. Whoop, that was weird. The poor bus driver's going to think I'm nuts. No, that button. And then when we get to the end of this road, it's going to have to make a right turn. And then once it makes the right turn, I'm going to cancel the navigation and plot in the next destination. I'd hit cancel here, but I'm almost afraid it would try and pull a U-turn or something bananas like that. Oh, you have a green light. Come on. Cancel. And then the next destination is... So the next destination I'm going to plot it for is the Grand Floridian. This leg of the trip will be a little interesting. What this is going to do is it's going to bring us around back to World Drive, and then from there we'll have to cut across 3 lanes of traffic in order to continue on World Drive. I was expecting FSD Beta to have to handle that, but since World Drive is handled by classic Autopilot, I guess it'll be me. Typical tourists, always running a red. So on the right is Disney Springs, which used to be downtown Disney. It's basically the main shopping area for Disney World. And then as you get to the western side, you end up with things like Cirque du Soleil and things of that nature. The entertainment district instead of the food district. We're getting ready for a right turn, so the car is getting into the appropriate lane. In the middle of this road, I should have mentioned this earlier, but in the middle of this road is actually a dedicated bus lane for the Disney buses. So again, part of driving the FSD Beta is to give it all kinds of information, and a dedicated bus lane is not the most common thing to see. So we're getting ready to make a right turn here, basically going to follow that blue car. And then we need to get over to the left lane. And not here, but I believe at the next overpass we're going to cross over. Going to make a left turn here. So again, when there's a lead car, it tends to be fairly confident in what it's doing. It's mostly when there's not a lead car that you start to run into a lot of fidgetiness. So this road is Epcot Center Drive. Behind these trees on the left is Epcot. And interestingly enough, it is also on classic Autopilot here as well, or traditional Autopilot. Oh, and it doesn't want to change lanes. So I'm not sure if you saw it down here, but it's one of the weird things about the FSD Beta update. FSD Beta removes the use of the radar, and I found that there's some drift. Like right now it shows the bus is in my lane, but it isn't. It seems to plot around it properly, it's just the positioning is wrong. It's a little unsettling. So the path here again is going to take us back to World Drive, and then once we're on World Drive, we'll be heading north back towards the Magic Kingdom, And we'll have to, whereas previously it took the rightmost exit, we'll have to get to the far left-hand side this time. And again, these lane changes are manual because when on traditional autopilot, I don't let it do the lane changes automatically. Traditional autopilot historically so far has only really been used on the interstate. And an automatic lane change at 70, 80 miles an hour is a little unsettling. Here, again, I was expecting it to be more FSD Beta. A little more work than I wanted to put in, but again, you test these things to figure that out. So this is World Drive again, and we're going to want to go all the way to the left. What's actually interesting is I do some of the Run Disney events, right? And they normally start way back there near the overpass that we started on and then go down Epcot Center Drive. So I've actually had to run all the way down here through the Magic Kingdom gantry and onward through the Magic Kingdom and whatnot. And then you run right back down the other side again. It's a lot of running. So we're still on traditional autopilot, so it's not like I'm expecting the wheel to do any wibbly wobbly, but anytime you got a big vehicle next to you, it doesn't hurt to have your hands on the wheel. Well, both hands anyways. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go up to a road called Seven Seas Drive. On the left here is the Magic Kingdom parking lot, and Seven Seas Drive goes over the tunnel that the trams go through to get people to, what is this bus doing? Goes over the tunnel that the parking trams use to get people from the parking lot to the park. Or no, sorry. This is the parking lot to the TTC. The trams get people to the Ticket and Transportation Center, which then gets them to the park. But we're taking it to get to the Grand Floridian. So here, we've switched to FSD Beta. So it should be a lane change here, and then a left turn at this light. So then I typically just keep an open hold grip on the steering wheel and let it feed through my hands, and I'll just stop it if I have to. And again, I haven't driven these roads. Some of them I have, obviously, because I've been to the parks and whatnot, but like this road I've never driven on. Busy day today. So once we make a right turn onto Floridian Way, which is coming up here in a little bit, I'll cancel the destination and then pick something else. My intention here is to go kind of around the Magic Kingdom and then come up on the other side And we'll actually do 2 trips on this road. So we're going to make a right turn here. Cancel, and then the next destination is this one. So again, this path is going to take us to the north end of the Magic Kingdom. This area here is, I believe, a golf course. Yeah, it's a golf course. Of course, part of the Run Disney event that I did, you come running out Magic Kingdom and going in the opposite direction from here. It's a lot of running. I don't know why it's signaling. Nope, don't do that. So, and then the Grand Floridian Convention Center is over here. That guy just flew over the speed bump. Oh wait, there's one right here. So I've hit the brake in order to make sure I don't go flying over the speed bump like the other individual did. And I'm still driving over this one, and then I will re-engage autopilot. Oop, there we go. And away we go. And again, if this hand is not in frame, my left hand is still on the wheel in the lower left corner here. It's just not in the frame. Now we should be making a right-hand turn here, and once we get on that turn, I'm going to hit cancel and plot in the next destination here. It's interesting, I would have expected that light to be working. There we go. I'm going to wait for the turn to finish here, just in case it does something silly. Alright, we're going to cancel, and then the next destination is the Contemporary Resort. So again, we're just going to continue our loop around the Magic Kingdom. This is basically what's behind the Magic Kingdom, or as some other folks might get a chuckle with, the backside of Magic Kingdom. And then there should be a stop sign up ahead we're going to stop at. It should be straight through the stop sign. See the stop sign? Stop for the stop sign. There you go. Didn't see that coming, did you, buddy? Wait for the Jeep to go, and then it's our turn. On the left side here is the monorail parking area, where they put them to sleep at night. And also looks like the train station maintenance area. Whoa, okay. There was a very sudden braking by the car. Autopilot disengaged itself. Not sure why it braked. Probably too hard a right turn. Now when we get to the barrels, the car seems to want to go far away from the barrels. So you can see it drifting me to the center lane, center of the road, and then it pulls me back in. There's tons of room. I don't feel like it needs to do that, but it does. That's Space Mountain. And then the Tron roller coaster is back there. It's actually coming along pretty well. Almost makes me wish I'd been driving in the other direction. No, you forgot to... Okay. So that one is on me. I forgot to cancel and replot. No, we're doing this right. Distracted myself and forgot to replot after reaching the Contemporary Resort. The next stop is going to be the Polynesian Resort. So this bridge here is it's a water bridge. You can see there's a boat on the bridge right now. Technically constitutes a tunnel, I guess, but ultimately it's, you know, an underpass. All this above us is water. When you do the Run Disney event, you end up running down this way too. Almost broke my ankle here. Someone, I was going down faster than I should have been, and someone drifted in front of me, and I had to slow down faster than I expected. Once we get on Seven Seas Drive, I will change the destination again here. So it should be a right turn here. Being very cautious about a right on red. I don't blame him. Again, we're going to cancel and plot in the next destination. This is essentially a very poor man's waypoint system here. You see the steering wheel pulled away a couple of times. It's trying to get away from the cones. So the next destination I've put in is the Disney Animal Kingdom Lodge, which will take us past the entrance to the Animal Kingdom. And I chose that one because, again, part of the idea here is I want to travel as much of the Disney property as Disney World property as possible. Again, we'll hit World Drive, so I'll have to handle those lane changes manually, but that's fine. So there is no stop sign here, so I should have the right of way to make this turn. Let's see what the car does. The car treats it like a stop. I don't blame it. I gave it gas to give it a hint to go, but there was no stop sign there. Now it might squawk at me here when there's barrels on both sides. I was not expecting barrels. Let's see what it does. Oh, hey, it panics. Stay left. So when I plotted this, I wasn't expecting any real construction. So the system seems to be having an issue with how to proceed. As far as it's concerned, I'm not where I need to be, and it keeps applying the brakes. And start confusing people. So I'm not entirely sure why it put me all the way in the left-hand lane here. I ultimately need to be in the right-hand lane when I get back on World Drive. But again, it's construction, so the car is a little bit confused and trying to figure it out. I should be over there. And by all accounts, I should have been able to go over there, but obey the signs. That's interesting. It hasn't switched back to the... Oh, there it goes. Okay. I was going to say... During the running event, you often end up running down in this direction and then around that on-ramp over to the overpass we just went under, depending on the running event. So again, when I'm on World Drive, traditional autopilot's in play. I'm doing the lane changes myself. That drifting is because the line went away and it wants to center between two lane lines. Taking the next exit off of this road. Looks like I need to be in that lane to do it. going on to Osceola Parkway. The car is being a little bit weird about handling the curve. And now it has to merge to the left. There's a car you gotta get out in front of, which Autopilot decided to evidently just juke out in front of it, but okay. And now that I'm on Osceola Parkway, I'm going to cancel and reroute. There we go, that's what I want. So now this pathing is going to take us off Disney property. What this is ultimately going to do is take us just about to the Animal Kingdom Lodge, and then hang a left and go down to Irlo Bronson Memorial Highway, which I believe was US 192. Oh shoot, it missed the turn. It missed the turn. Now I'm going to have an awkward conversation with the toll booth people.
How are you doing?
I'm doing alright. I missed my turn. I meant to go to the Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Okay, you're going to go to the left side where the second green sign is. You're going to turn left and you're going to head up the ramp, and then you're going to keep heading straight down that road and it'll be right in front of you.
Awesome. Thank you.
No problem.
So this bit I'm going to do by hand. You know what? Let's see what it does. Second sign here. So we need to be going straight. The car is hesitating. Really hesitating. So nobody else is leaving the Animal Kingdom at the moment. So the car should have a straight shot to do what it needs to do. Which again, we're not actually going to the Animal Kingdom. We're going to... or not the lodge, we're going to Irlo Bronson here. Why are you trying to stop? Because we're supposed to be on the overpass. We're not where we are. Okay. What are we doing, buddy? I'm going to manually do this U-turn, which will put me back on track. There we go. Okay. So as a whole, what happened there is FSD was supposed to make a slight left going towards the Animal Kingdom parking plaza, and it failed. Or it just missed it, basically. So I had to go through the Animal Kingdom parking plaza. We're braking over the overpass. I had to go through the parking plaza and then make a U-turn to get it back on track again. What I'll do when I get home is take a look at that in OpenStreetMaps and see if it's mapped properly or not. I'm sure it is. There's so many lanes there that I have no doubt that the car just didn't know which one to pick. So this should spit us right out on Irlo Bronson here. That's a pretty tight turn. And then once I got on Irlo Bronson, I'm gonna plot a different destination here. You need to be in the left lane, buddy. There you go. It's a bit late. So that was a manual intervention so that I'm actually in the lane. Some tourists can be ruthless, and I don't really want to deal with having to wait for someone to let me in. Or natives. Some of the people in this area can be ruthless. No, don't do that. For some reason, the beta tried to have me go around these stopped cars. Oh, turn that off. There we go. That was weird. So one of the main observations I've seen with regards to the FSD Beta is it seems to be very impatient. You could be stopped, like it trying to go around this car is a little bit of a unique thing, but there's been other areas where the car is further back in the traffic line where it can't see the traffic light and it wants to go around the traffic. So it's a little bit tricky sometimes. Going to be an interesting one to see how they figure out, because it's some balance between go around it and wait. To me, the better solution is just, you know, to wait it out, right? I mean, I'm having to push the accelerator to go forward here, but it does complete the lane change. Now what has to happen here is it's got to go 3 lanes, or to the outer lane. So it's going to have to make 2 lane changes. But going back to what I was saying with the impatience there, I get the idea of going around parked traffic. To me, it seems like a small limitation of the vision system, because if you look at the screen here, we can see nothing in front of this car. So we're assuming there's stuff in front of the car, but all we know for sure is that there's one car in front of me. The radar did the same thing. The radar could bounce and technically see a second car, but the visualizations and stuff have only ever shown one car. So you get some impatience with that, where the car wants to go around, but you yourself can see there's more. I don't know if there's a way to make it see through a car, because like I can see a car through this guy's window. Oh, now see, you're being impatient. So again, what has to happen here is the car has to make 2 right lane changes in the next mile. And what I have found sometimes is the car just won't do it. It's impatient about traffic, and it's too patient with traffic. What I find ends up happening is you might need you might need to do a lane change, but the system doesn't want to do it because there's a car there. There is no car next to me right now. It could totally change lanes if it wanted to. There it goes. But it doesn't expect common courtesy, right? So, like right now, it's slowing down to let the car next to me get ahead of it. But what it could also do in heavy traffic is turn the signal on and wait for someone to let you in. Albeit, I will admit, that is different in every region. I'm sure some people just burst out laughing at that comment. But, I mean, the reality is, for the most part, people will... I need to be getting off here. For the most part, people will show common courtesy. Oh, it is taking this turn really slow. Come on, buddy. For the most part, people will show common courtesy. Where you want to let other people in and things of that nature. Again, some regions they won't, but that's the expected thing, right? That's the whole idea behind common courtesy. So just having the system turn the signal on in thick traffic, I personally feel would help when it's trying to do lane changes, because someone may actually let them in. I know personally I always let the lane changers in because, you know, they got to get somewhere. There's no point in blocking them. So right now we're back on World Drive again, which means traditional autopilot is kicked back in. I'm a little annoyed that that's how the system operates in Disney World. Again, I don't know what autopilot is keying off of. I would have expected this whole leg to be traditional autopilot, but it is what it is. So the next destination we're going to is a hotel that's currently under construction. It's a Marriott hotel that can be seen from I-4 when you're heading west on Interstate 4. It's a hotel that's currently under construction, so I'm not expecting much out of it. Basically just gonna like go down and do a U-turn or something. we should be getting off at this exit here. There it goes. We're going to hang her right here. A little bit more over than we need to be. This is totally not centered, but the line is faded, so I get it. Whoa, why'd you stop? So I'm manually doing this one because the car was too skittish to do it. So in a moment, we'll end up back over here because I'm going to have it go towards the yacht club. But let's go to the Marriott. And again, when this hand is not in frame, there's a hand on the lower left quadrant of the car. So when it's doing those lane changes, I'm absolutely still holding the steering wheel. It's just not in frame. You can see on the left, there's the new Skyway that they've built for transporting people. No air conditioner. Not sure how I feel about that. Some folks have said they're fine. I kind of prefer my air conditioning. So in the next half mile or so, we need to complete at least one lane change into the right lane. Maybe two. Like, I feel like there could be more planning ahead. Right, like when you're on an interstate and traditional autopilot is in play, you generally have about a half mile for each lane you need to make a lane change for. Or is it a full mile? I don't know. There's tons of room for it to be able to get from like the innermost lane to the outermost lane within like 3 miles or so. Change lanes in the middle of the intersection, isn't it? There it goes. So the other observation I'm making on this drive alone is it looks like some of the lane changes it waits until late after, either going through a street light or after a street light. I don't know. It's hard to describe the behavior. I believe we'll be making the next right. Here. Whoa! Didn't curb it, but you scared me. So we'll be making this right turn here, which, you know, coordinated silliness. So I kind of expect impatience. Autopilot's going to try and go all the way over. You can see the tentacle trying to make that call. You can also see it sort of sees the car ahead of this one. It'll flicker in and out every now and then. So I'm actually going to let this run through to the end of this road, even though it's under construction. I've seen some interesting behavior when the road doesn't exist on a map properly, so I'm curious to see if it'll reproduce the issue here. So these are all the non-Disney owned resorts. Holy cow, what was that? It like turned and braked really hard. It's like being in a blender sometimes. Oh, they're further along in construction than I thought they were. I'm also not where I thought I am. I believe this is a four-way stop. Go. Maybe if you weren't on your phone, you could drive better. Okay, so this bit I'm going to do manually because I got to get turned around now. Yeah, we'll do it here. And the next destination is going to be Disney's Yacht Club. We'll start it from here. Okay, I'm sorry. We'll start it from here. Oh my gosh. There we go. So it's stopped way far back from the stop sign. Though I can appreciate stopping for a crosswalk. Oh wow, you're gonna run the stop sign. Okay. It's not what I was expecting. And again, a large part of the idea here is to just kind of drive around the area. It's my personal belief that a part of what we're doing with the FSD Beta is helping to collect mapping data for Tesla. So just driving these areas helps other people. Didn't think you were going to stop there, buddy. So driving through these areas just helps them collect data to make the thing better. So yes, I might as well drive to the end of a dead-end road. You gonna go? Come on. You've got full visibility. Just go. Alright. Gas. There's that truck that I thought wasn't gonna stop there for a minute was behind me, so I just wanted to go. Could have done that better. So when we get out of all this area, we'll be making a left. So ultimately, I need to be in the left lane here. Whoa, why are we braking? Holy cow. There's the left lane change. The left-hand most turn lane is not open. What do? We go straight. Okay, good car. So again, it's drifting away from the cones. There's tons of space that it could have stayed centered, but it sees cone and goes, I must give, I don't know, like 4 feet worth of space or something. It's not the behavior I would do. There's tons of room to be further over. And I've seen that with every single set of cones I've seen, is it pushes you as far away from them as it can. Which seems a little unnecessary. So going to the yacht club has another water bridge that will go under. There we go. What are we gonna do, buddy? Stay in here. Oh, no. Okay, you're gonna hit the brakes. There's no reason to hit the brakes. So I'm in control, and autopilot is back on. It did not have a reason to do that. There was a line on the side to guide it properly. It just decided to bail out of the maneuver in the middle of the intersection, and I had to complete it for it. Lane change in the middle of an intersection, something else the FSD Beta seems to love to do. On the right hand side here is all the Skyway cars. And then shortly after we hang this right here, oh, don't curve. Oh, that was a tight one. I'm going to replot it towards the Pop Century Resort, and then it'll be out of Disney and done. On the left here is the Boardwalk Resort. Alright, we should be able to hit cancel, and then re-navigate to the Pop Century Resort. There we go. So again, here's a water bridge. This water bridge connects the waterways for Epcot to the Yacht Club and the Boardwalk Resorts, and then onward to MGM. Or I guess it's Disney Hollywood Studios now. Will always be MGM to me, though. And then this is the Yacht Club. Or Beach Club and Yacht Club. Beach Club first. Oh, hey, we're going to stop for the pedestrian. Honestly, not entirely sure it was going to stop on its own. That's the second time I've had it not perform well with a pedestrian. What are we going to do? Okay. So it aborted, or it dropped out of autopilot on that one because I had a firm grip on the steering wheel for obvious reasons given the construction here. There we go. So we need to be in the left lane. Pretty sure we need to be in the left lane. Oh, don't brake. Yes, it's a traffic light. Yes, it's no. Left lane. Did not get into the left lane properly like it should have. I took control so that I can make sure I was in the lane. So we're going to hit the Pop Century Resort, and then I'm going to navigate to a Walgreens that's outside of Disney property. Which will kind of have us traverse through Disney property again to get there. When there's a lead car, it tends to be super confident, but it is at least aware of the fact that when you take the left turn, you stay in the left-hand-most lane. Some folks, like that black SUV, don't do that, but I certainly appreciate that the system does do that, because that is technically the correct thing to do. Tried to go right there for a second. So once we make this turn, I'm then going to navigate to the Walgreens that's off Disney property to complete this little adventure. dedicated lane there, buddy. You don't need to stop. Okay, so we're going to hit cancel and go to the last destination, which is here. So this last one is going to have us go down to Osceola Parkway, hang a right, and then back onto World Drive, and then onward out of here. You can see the Skyway cars going across the top here. Pretty sure that was my turn. No. Yes. No? I don't know. I honestly don't know what that was. It felt like I missed my turn. Moving along. So here, I'm pretty sure we don't need to change lanes, although I guess it's going to. That was unnecessary. Oh, it was really unnecessary. This lane ends. It would have been better for it to just leave me in the other one. So from here, I don't need to change lanes. I just need to stay in this lane. We're going to take the same exit from a moment ago and hang a left. No, we're going left. We're going left. Almost made the wrong turn. No, this is unnecessary. You're going to need to be in the right lane when you get through this. Alright. So again, the planning aspect of FSD Beta seems to be a little bit wonky. See if I can get this in frame here. Maybe. So we're over here. Hopefully this is in frame. We're making a left turn, but we eventually have to make a right turn. Both of the lanes that are here go left. So from a planning standpoint, it would have been better for it to be in the right lane going through this turn. Because once the turn completes, it's got to make a right lane change. But had it been in that lane, it wouldn't have to do that. Now it's got half a mile to make the lane change, which admittedly is a lot of space to do that. But from a planning aspect, it wasn't necessary. See, now we're going to end up over here. Behind, I mean, obviously we're going to end up over here. That guy's going that way. Looks like somebody else's curb did a lot. That curb was destroyed. Alright, and then from here it should be a straight shot to the Walgreens. So, as a whole, it handled that fairly well. Up and around the Magic Kingdom area and those resorts, it seemed to do a pretty good job, except for where the speed bumps are. I made a mistake and I didn't replot when we got the Contemporary Resort, so that was a manual disengagement. The fact that World Drive is not an FSD Beta road hindered some of what I was hoping to happen. If I had the automatic lane changing, yes, that would have been a lot smoother. Because the vehicle should have been able to do those lane changes on its own. But again, I feel like that's not really a highway type road that would have required the use of traditional autopilot. But I don't know. For all I know, Disney on the back end tells Tesla to have it that way, so whatever. Going around some of the other resorts near the yacht club and such, there were some manual interventions there and some funny business near the construction zones. As a whole, it went well. Anytime there was construction, the thing seemed to freak out and have no idea what's going on. But even as a human driver, in some of those instances, I was having trouble trying to discern what was going on. Some of the construction was, like the construction around the yacht club was very unexpected, a left turn. I mean, I kind of figured out. Initially, it looked like it was going to be one of those. Shoot, what do you call it? The single lane things where you have a stop sign guy, right? Like the little flagger thing. But then, very suddenly, you're able to take a left and keep going. So that was kind of weird. There was the construction zone one near the Bonnet Creek area after the Marriott Hotel, where it kind of stopped in the middle of the intersection, trying to take that left. And there were some speed issues in the construction around the Magic Kingdom parking lot. But beyond that, it certainly makes getting around Disney a little easier. I'll give it credit for that. It didn't hit any curbs, didn't hit any vehicles. There was the one pedestrian that I wasn't going to find out if it was going to brake in time or not. I felt like it was not going to brake in time, or if it had braked, it would have been a hard brake. So I'm absolutely not happy about that at all. But I have no doubt that the improvements will get in the system. So, thanks for watching.